let's go on to the 2 versus 7 matchups. I mean, I want to talk about this one because I do think it's going to be one of the most interesting matchups in the NBA this playoffs and this whole playoff run, honestly. Lakers versus Memphis Grizzlies. Honestly, this could be so intriguing. Now, you do got a big injury, and you do got a team that's coming in very, very hot in the playoffs. Talking about the Lakers. So let's talk about this one. Melo, who you got for this one? Memphis Grizzlies versus LA Lakers.
So we didn't get a chance to drop this episode before the series started, but there was a couple of hot takes that I had about this whole first round. In case you didn't catch our last episode, I did predict that the Kings would beat the Warriors in the first round, while most people didn't have them as the favorites, even though they're number 3 seed. They are now up 2-0. Before the injury, as much as I'll be honest, I wanted to pick the Warriors as a fan of just I love the Warriors and the way they play basketball. But I'm like, I'd be honest, like I'm gonna give it to the Kings. Like I really think they've been doing what they're supposed to do and they got the pieces. Before the John Morant injury, I wanted to pick the Lakers. I want LeBron to go another run. I want AD to get a good shot. I want them to go deep in the playoffs. But realistically, before the John Morant injury, I just unfortunately had Memphis winning this series. It's going to be a tough series. And I was very, very back and forth. That was probably the hardest decision in the first round to make. I had it going 7 games regardless. And initially, I picked Lakers, but then I took a step back and realized I was picking Lakers just because I want the Lakers to win. Because I'll be honest, like most people, I cannot stand the damn Grizzlies. They talk too much. They're young. Dylan Brooks get on my damn nerves. Like I just wanted them to lose. But then I got to the point where I really took a step back. Like at the end of the day, they're the second seed for a reason. John Morant is a phenom. Pretty much nothing like we've seen since we've seen when Derrick Rose or Westbrook, technically kind of the same build. Jaren Jackson Jr. is definitely having a great. Yeah, basically, yeah. Jaren Jackson Jr. having a great year. Another defensive player of the year candidate. Desmond Bain stepping up. Tyus Jones doing great coming off the bench. I literally thought that team was very well put together and they had a good shot. But right now we got no Morant and we don't even have any Adams.
That's right. Steven Adams is out. Oof,
that's another big loss for them too. So at this point. The series does change, and it changes a lot. The answer is, what are we going to see from LeBron? Are we going to see him take over now that he's the best player in the series by far? Or are we still going to see him kind of take a step back and kind of let everyone else kind of step up and see if they can kind of use everyone else to kind of get them past the Memphis Grizzlies if they can? What do you think? What do you think we're going to see from this series?
See, I do think that the Lakers were so hot coming into the playoffs that they don't even seem like a 7 seed at all. Like, I mean, looking at them just from the All-Star break and beyond, they were literally like one or probably one of the top 3 teams as far as records are concerned.
Mm-hmm. And I think they were the second best team after the All-Star break.
I know the Knicks were first.
The best team. Yeah, there was the
Knicks were first, and then I don't know if they were second or third. It was between them and I think it might have been the Kings actually, because the Kings had a really good run at the end of the season.
The Lakers were second. They had the second best record.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I mean, definitely like they were so hot coming into this playoffs that they don't even seem like a 7 seed at all. Like you're looking at them, and they got both LeBron and AD healthy right now. They got D'Angelo Russell, who could be considered a great third option. And right now you got Austin Reeves coming in as like the second coming of like a Peja Stojakovic or something like that. But honestly,
watching him in the first game in that second half in the fourth quarter was amazing.
For real, like he was making 3, then mid-range 2, going in for a layup, another 3. Like he was
behind the back assist to Rui. I screamed, hopped off my couch. Oh man, he was playing his ass off.
Yeah, and it's so like cool, like learning his story. Like I got to hear a little bit about how he got drafted. He obviously was an undrafted free agent, and somebody was going to take him. I believe it was the Detroit Pistons were going to take him.
Yep, it was.
In the 48th pick, and he got a phone call from them, and they said we're going to take you on a two-way contract. But before the draft, the Lakers already said that if you go undrafted, we'll pick you up on a two-way contract. So he just decided, well, I'm just gonna choose the Lakers. I'm gonna wait it out and stay undrafted. The Lakers took him on a two-way contract, and you see what he's doing now. He's definitely gonna get paid at the end of the year, but definitely doing work for the Lakers right now. And honestly, the Lakers, all the guys that they picked up, and that after the All-Star break and before the trade deadline, they're doing really well for them. Obviously, Hachimura we talked about, but Russell's doing amazing, and you gotta really give a lot of props that LeBron and AD are actually able to stay on the court together. Now, I do think the best player on the court is not even LeBron James.
It's AD.
It's AD in this series, and is I think that AD is gonna have to step it up and show us what he can do in these playoffs. I think LeBron is gonna need to kind of take a step down and let AD do work, but we are gonna see if he can actually do it. I'm not sure if AD can, and if he can't, then we might have to see LeBron step up. But now, do we know if John Morant's coming back? By the end of the series, they're talking about they're doing hand X-rays. They had him in ice. I mean, they're saying
that's
he might.
The one we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one we know. Hero's out 4 to 6 weeks. We know Giannis will be back in probably 2 games. But John Morant, that's the one
they're
we
still
don't know. He
right.
said he was in excruciating pain.
And as far as I saw him after game 1, before game 2, he was in ice. He had like his whole hand in ice. So we don't know if he's gonna be playing in that game 2. I expect this series to go 6 games, and this just because of John Morant. Honestly, if he's not playing that second game, I expect it to go 6 games. But if he comes back the second game, then I expect the series to be 7 games. Now,
I think he's very questionable for a second game. Just like Giannis, I just looked it up right now. He is not broken. It is not broken, just hurt badly. So he is questionable. So it's looking like he's gonna try to get back this series.
Right. So he might be back third game, but honestly, it might be a little too late. It might be a little too late because it's gonna be a tough fought game 2 anyways. And I don't know. Without John Morant, do you think they can win that second game even?
Honestly, man, and truthfully, I think this also goes 6. I think it's gonna be a well fought series. But at the end of the day, the Lakers bear it's so crazy because they won by what? I think it was 16 points.
Yeah.
But that all happened in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Right. That's for sure.
It was such a close game.
They won 15-0 the last. They had like a 15-0 scoring run.
Yeah, they shut down Memphis so bad in the last 4 minutes. It was ridiculous.
It was 113 to 112, and then they didn't let them score anymore after that. You're right. That's what it was.
So honestly, with that game, they had no answer for Jaren Jackson. No answer.
It's because AD is skinny, bro.
They had LeBron on him. LeBron couldn't stop him.
Oh yeah, he did too. He was on.
They had LeBron on him. LeBron couldn't stop him. Both Bane and who was it? Tyus Jones had a horrible shooting nights. Were left open for a while, but I think they both combined for 6 for 18 shooting. And even then, they were still right in there.
That's true.
LeBron had a good game. AD went off. Rui went off. Reeves went off. When I can see Rui and Reeves go off every game. So I do think that this series is going to be competitive. It's going to show us a lot of different options on who's going to step up each night. And even without Morant, I do think that the Memphis team is going to compete. Like I said, they know they actually know a good way, and I wouldn't say good way, but they know more than most, honestly, on how to slow down LeBron. And they did that the first game to the point where it wasn't that that's the thing. LeBron's not slow him down. He's not unstoppable. Mm-hmm. But it does force other people to step up, and fortunately for Lakers, they had 2 people that stepped up. So I definitely do think that without Morant, the Grizzlies still actually compete. Like I said, with Morant, fully healthy Morant, I actually had them winning this game, winning this series.
Hmm.
But I do think that this is a 4-2 series as well. Even if Morant does come back, I just think LeBron James has been slowly molding himself into what we need from him this postseason. We don't
Yep.
need him to go
Yep.
off. We need
Hmm.
AD to carry the load and
Hmm.
be the number one option, but we need LeBron to be that good
Hmm.
supporting cast. And honestly, since the last couple of years, he's averaged over 8 assists in the playoffs. Since he went back to Cleveland, started getting 3-and-D players around him. Since he came back to the Lakers, him and AD, with the talent that he's had, and with this team now that's built around him, I think he has a perfect chance to basically continue to lean on them and allow different people to step up behind AD and really just do what he's supposed to do. So I definitely do think it's gonna be a great series, but I do think LeBron just kind of cruises his way. As long as AD don't get injured, he's gonna have a hell of a series, and we're gonna see a tough fought one against him and JJJ.
Yeah, man. Well, I do think that there's definitely it's gonna be a competitor because there's definitely a reason that Memphis was the number 2 seed, even though they didn't have Morant for even like half the season, like almost half the season he was out, and they were still very
They played great
competitive and
without him.
they did. And I think that they're still gonna. It's just that, looking at the way stylistically how they play, they're gonna have to play more inside game. They're not gonna be playing more outside with Bane and stuff like that because I do think, having LeBron and Russell defend at times that they can. Obviously, you got AD, who I think is one of the best defenders in the league when he's on the court. But I mean, I definitely think that the Lakers can defend, and they play very well against Memphis. Without Morant, it's going to be tough. If it was another series, like if Memphis was playing Minnesota, I could see them winning a series, against Minnesota without Morant. But since it's the Lakers right now, and the Lakers are so hot, you got LeBron that's very healthy, AD is very healthy, and all the guys, the supporting cast is actually doing what they're supposed to do. Obviously, Austin Reeves is having a great end of the season, and right now start of the playoffs. So we'll definitely see his progression. But I think the Lakers are too much for Memphis right now, and they just played them at the wrong time. And I got the Lakers moving on. But honestly, even without or even before John Morant was out, I would have had the Lakers too because I had Lakers moving on. I thought that they were gonna move on like way before this. Once they made that trade and I saw like what they were doing, I really thought that they were gonna be representing in that Western Conference Finals, and I definitely could possibly see them there.
So you got Lakers 4-2.
Lakers 4-2.
Yeah, so I definitely but like I said, I'm trying to take a lot of my bias out. And with the West, like I'm gonna tell you right now, I favorite the Lakers and the Warriors a lot.
I
And I
feel
think
you,
with the Warriors,
but not just
we
you. Vegas
right, and
does
that's
too.
that's what I'm saying. With the Warriors, we all think that they do, but we all think that they just have a magical switch that they could just turn on.
That's true. But then
And that they
again,
do,
like
but then again, like age has got to them, injuries has got to them. Um, and we can't sleep on the Kings. Same thing with the Lakers, man. We all think they just have this magical switch they can just turn on. And at the end of the day, we all hate the Grizzlies. Man, hate the Grizzlies. We all want to see Dylan Brooks go home. But like you said, there's a reason why they were second in the West, even without having John Morant for a few games. They're a great coach team, great
they
all
are.
around, and at the end of the day, they are going to handle business. You got to remember they were this close to honestly making out the West last year if it wasn't for another John Moran injury.
No,
So I
injury. Yep.
definitely do think that they have a lot of potential, even though we don't like the
No,
team. So I did
they
have them
definitely.
winning the series.
Oh, you had them winning the series for sure, but I mean, they definitely have potential. But I mean, looking at what the Lakers were doing, I mean, that kind of shows you that, like, even from the All Star break, that shows you that they're pretty much a different team. They're not the same team that they were, in the beginning of the season. Obviously, they started out like 2-10, I think, something like that, something crazy.
Right.
So they're definitely not that same team. Going into the playoffs, them being healthy, I just think that they're playing a totally different team than the that people expect. Also, with as far as the Warriors, I mean, you got to look at the playoffs. Also, the way that they have it set up, 2 games at home for one team, 2 games at home for the other team, and then you go 1-1-1. So you kind of expect the home team to win the first two, and then you go to the away team, and then they should win the next two. So I'm expecting the Warriors to come back and win that next two. So I don't know if that series is over just yet. I do expect that series to go 7 games. I think I had it 6 games. I might switch it up to 7, but
No,
I'm sticking with
yeah,
it. I'm
I
sticking with
definitely
my
had it
6.
7.
hmm
Yeah, I definitely had it 7. Kings. I
I'm
think you
sticking
did
with
have
my
it less
6.
than that.
I'm sticking with my. I think once they get in Golden State, they're gonna come back. But you guys could definitely
Yeah, you
check
have
out
4
our
too. Yeah.
yeah. You guys could check out our previous episode that we did. If you guys wanna hear what we said about that series, because that was definitely one of the most intriguing series of the playoffs for sure. And this will be too Lakers versus Memphis, and so we both got
Hmm.
Lakers moving on.
Lakers in
And
6.